I hear from some of those Bulldog fans been calling me.
We know that Dennis will maintain his, shall we say,
objectivity.
Thank you, Lewis. That's the word I was looking for.
Objectivity to all you Shelby fans. Steve Roberts. It's like the barber shop. Next.
Yeah.
Or he might resort to some chicanery.
Well,
he used that word last week, Tom, and I nailed him.
Well, if we want to do a little analysis, if Crest does expect to beat Shelby next week, they're going to have to come up with more than 2 first downs in the second half.
Yep.
Burns had a very dominating defensive.
Watermelon. Right.
Yeah.
Look at the scoreboard and see who's behind.
I see Dennis, who was still quoting rhymes from the 1960s. To brush up on his material.
And chicanery.
We know that the Crest.
When you're 2 of 21, Tom.
Hey, it's 2-1 tonight, Dennis. We got you out now.
Speaking about the game in modern colloquial, I would say that Crest Chargers have a very good defense.
Should I do my soliloquy later?
They have a very good rushing attack. I'd also say that. And their Wildcat formation was very dominating tonight.
You know something we need to do first thing is run the scores because Terry didn't give them.
Well, Terry, get in here and give us some scores, my man.
Well, while
they're doing that, I want to thank Sasha over at the Newts tonight. She sent us burgers.
Yes, sir.
Terry can't give us scores right now because he's got one stuff.
All right. Well, we got a few scores. It was East Lincoln over Maiden, 42-0.
Now this one surprised me big time.
And Maiden had a very good football team, a tight win over West Lincoln. But West Lincoln Bandies beats them 34-7.
Yeah, that's
a lot of the West Lincoln fans a little let down, expected a better performance out of the West Lincoln Rebels tonight.
All right, Terry's back. Terry, you ready?
You good, Terry, and then tell us the scores.
Yes, sir. I am ready.
There's Terry. Go ahead, Terry.
All right, in the Southern Piedmont 1A Conference tonight, it was Bessemer City and Highland Tech. That game has been moved to Monday at 7 p.m. But in other finals, it was Cherryville having no trouble with the Community School of Davison. Cherryville 47, Community School of Davison 8. Thomas Jefferson was up on top of Pine Lake Prep 21-0. We do not have a final yet. In the Southern District 7, it was all East Lincoln as they rolled over Maiden 42-0. It was Bandies knocking off West Lincoln tonight 34-7. Kind of an upset there, guys. I don't know what y'all think, but to me, kind of an upset. Lincoln leads West Caldwell in the fourth quarter 48-21, and Bunker Hill leads Newton Conover 56-13.
Ooh.
In the SMAC conference, it was Crest and all y'all young gentlemen in there pulls for Crest. And, one of them in there pulls for Burns, but he comes out on the wrong end. Crest 21, Burns 17. It was Shelby overdrawn tonight 49-14. RS Central pulls off a win over East Rutherford 20-17. And Chase over East Burke 27-8. In the Big South 2A, 3A, South Point leads North Gaston 41-10, and a big thing about this game, halfway through the second quarter, South Point led 28-0, and they had only run 6 plays. Ashbrook defeats Lake Norman Charter tonight 42-0. Hunter Huss and Forest View will play Monday at 6:30. Other scores from around the area, Alexander Central leads West Iredale 34-20 in the fourth quarter. Statesville has beat North Lincoln 42-20. That's a final. Lake Norman leads North Iredale 14-7, and Mooresville defeats South Iredale 33-10. Other scores that are in the fourth quarter: High Brighton leads Patton 21-0. Hickory over Watauga 35-14. Freedom leads St. Stephen's 34-0, and a final: South Caldwell defeats Fred T. Ford 36-0. And now back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry, and that's a great score roundup here. You always get all the scores on the Marburger post-game show, so be sure to make sure you listen as soon as the ball games gets over. That Terry does a good job running down those scores. And if you want to call us here at the station, got a couple numbers for you. Got 704-435-3297, 704-735-8071, or 704-482-1390. I think Steve's telling me I've got a caller. Go ahead. Caller.
Hey, is this Tom?
This is Tom.
This is JQ, Tom.
Oh, JQ Boyka. Let me tell you about JQ Boyka. Hey, look, Hey, look, JQ, this isn't high school. You better not be picking on me on the radio tonight, okay, buddy?
I'm just gonna give you a chance to come home, Tom. That's all.
Thank you, JQ. Oh, that was great. I love that.
You know, JQ. You know what they say? You can never go home again, JQ. They say you can never go home. But
I got your fingerprints on it, Tom. Come on home.
I take it you were at the ball game, JQ. Tell us what you think.
I didn't get to go to the game, but what I heard was it was a good game. I was watching it on the internet the last 5 minutes, and looked like Chris got a good run game and a good team.
Well,
better than what we thought they would.
And Crest can do a couple of different things. They go with their regular quarterback, and they can run the ball. Then they go with Wildcat. They have one of the run. They can attack you with a run game from several different ways. And you know, they're big eaters up front. At least in the first half, did a real good job living on your legacy there, JQ. Back in your days as a Crest offensive lineman, but they did a good job, especially in that second quarter. The ball game was won in that second quarter where Crest really, just dominated them offensively. I was talking to Dennis up in the stand, and when you can run 10, 12 straight rushing plays, score a touchdown, you know the other team's in a little bit of trouble.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, Jake,
y'all done made it difficult for me next week. My son is an offensive lineman for the Golden Lions, so I'm going to have to sit in the middle of the field next week.
hey, that's what you did when you played, Jake.
Talking about home, you may not have a home to go to.
Hey, I guess that's payback for Steve DeGree's son playing at Crest and him pulling for Shelby, What can I say?
Well, there's a lot of good football and a lot of divided loyalties in Cleveland County.
JQ,
but go ahead.
JQ, I just want to say seriously, I'd like to give a tip of the hat to the Burns Bulldogs. They've had a great season. It's not over yet. They probably should be the number 1-3 small A. Post the season listing. 3A. Small 3A, excuse me. Thank you, Lewis. Getting ahead of myself there. That's why I have you here, Lewis.
I know that.
And Crest maybe has a shot at the big 3A. Shelby, of course, still has a shot at the 2A. I'd like to give them credit. And there was one play there that puzzled me a little bit coming down the stretch. You said you saw the last 2 minutes.
No
Can you explain to me why Crest was throwing the ball in that situation and not running the clock out?
Oh, no.
I can't.
That Burns kid come close to intercepting.
I know. I have no clue about that, JQ. But I do say this about Coach Barnes. He's a class act, and you saw it at the end when he had his quarterback take a knee there rather than trying to run the score up and get some extra points.
That was class.
Yeah.
He is no Tommy Knots.
That's class.
Well, JQ, we appreciate you calling in tonight. We haven't heard from you all year, man. I want to make sure that you call in again sometime.
Yeah, Will's 2 calls up on you.
Yeah, Will's a couple calls up on you, buddy. We need to hear from you here on the Marburger postgame show.
I'll call next week, win or lose.
There you go.
There you go.
And we'll talk about your son in the offensive line.
Call us next week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, JQ.
Thank you, JQ. Got another caller? No.
Okay.
No caller.
Well,
they haven't got home from the game yet.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you. I want to talk about this one game that surprised me to death. That 42-0.
Oh yeah.
That to me is shocking. Now it's not shocking that East Lincoln won.
No.
But it's shocking that they scored 42 points and Maiden didn't score any. I can't believe that.
This is the kind of game I thought would see similar to the Crest-Burns game.
Right.
Both sides very very good and a very close, just give or take a couple of points.
Well, Terry made a point a while ago, I thought it was a good point. They were up, East Lincoln was up 14-0. Maiden was driving, and the boy from East Lincoln intercepted him and went 70 yards. And instead of being 14-7,
it's 21-0. And that's a backbreaker. And
that's a killer.
Mr. Momentum took a little U-turn.
Yes, sir.
There. Steve, do I have a caller? Go ahead, caller.
I just want to give a shout out to Dennis Davis. How you doing, Dennis?
Hey.
We went to the best game tonight.
Who is this? Is this Michael Talent? No, Joseph Talent.
This is Chad Wood.
Oh, okay.
What's the crest?
Well, you'll get it right. Keep on working.
He'll get it right eventually.
There's
He'll
only
get it right
10,000
eventually.
more students out there. Come on. All right. I'm sorry, man. I apologize. Go ahead.
It's a great football game.
Yeah.
I thought Crescent really played a little bit better than what the stats really was. The offense ran a lot of the same plays at the middle and made the defense of Burns really look tough. They was really good.
The only thing I was disappointed about Crest tonight was the kid that played quarterback for Burns proved to be very elusive. Tom and I were talking up there. The kid probably weighs, Tom says, 150 pounds with 2 bricks in his pocket. But the way he eluded the Crest passing defense back there tonight, when they thought they had him, and he would just say, abracadabra, and go the other direction, I'll have to give him credit for that. But I will say this for Crest. They showed great poise and great, ability to get the job done. And I thought that come from having played tough competition earlier in the year, whereas Burns has sort of blowed some people out. Maybe that cost him a little bit in this game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Most definitely. I'm sure it's going to be a good game next week with the Golden Lions, so can't wait to see that.
I'm sure there'll be a few Shelby people calling in tonight, and we'll have a few comments for them and a prediction on that game later on. But win or lose, you've got 3 great teams right now in the county, and I wish them all the best in the playoffs. Shelby's going to be there. Crest is going to be there, and Burns is definitely going to be there as well. So stick your heads up, fellas. You got nothing to be ashamed of.
Yep. Definitely. Y'all have a good night.
All right,
Thank
appreciate you calling. Steve, we got anybody else? All right, so we'll go to some of these other scores. Not a surprising outcome in that Shelby Drone game, 49-14. Not a surprise in the Chase ball game either. That game 27-8 over East Burke. What I'm surprised here, the Fighting Dan Grierfons of Thomas Jefferson put up 61 on Pine Lake Prep.
Wow.
Of course, everybody's putting up 61 on Pine Lake Prep.
Tom, can I interrupt for just one
ahead.
second here? I'm looking at the What's Up Shelby preview with Andre Bush, who's standing right back here. Andre, in the key to victory tonight, the winner, Burns Bulldogs. Now, Andre is a Bulldog, and I've got to give a tip of hat to him. Oh, you're not Andre. Okay, sorry. Can't see that. It's a 2-1.
Oh, it's Will Boykins.
Hey, JQ, guess who showed up tonight, man?
Little brother's in the house.
You call, but will come. I'll tell you what. Anyway, I'll deal with Andre later. Anyway, he predicted Burns' victory tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, he wasn't the only one. No, all 3 of the star reporters, Alan Ford, Clark Leonard, and Gabe Whiston, predicted Burns Bulldogs.
Did you say experts?
They are. Alan
has been spurts of drip.
Alan Ford is the foremost expert.
I like that hat.
On football in Cleveland County.
This is our former intern, professional, JQ. Guess who this bit? Will.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, how you doing, bud?
Did you go to the game?
I just left the University of Crest High School.
University. Did you see? Me and Will's going to talk a little Crest.
Okay, all right.
Tonight, halftime, Will, we retired the jerseys of 2 Olympians and 1 NFL Super Bowl player. Any other school in Cleveland County got that?
I don't think there is.
Don't think they did.
I don't think there is.
And you know what's coming up next week, don't you?
TAUGA.
Okay. It's the traditional Shelby Crest slobber knocker, Lewis.
Yep.
Throw out the records.
Yes.
Throw out the conference.
Yes.
Will, before you leave, I want to get a prediction. Next week, who's going to win?
I'm not giving a prediction on that one.
Come on, Will. Come on, Will. You got to make a prediction.
All the kids that ever played for me when I was coaching.
I know, they're over at Shelby.
My nephew plays over at
I
Shelby.
thought to say you got a nephew at Shelby.
I got a nephew over there at Shelby. I wouldn't stick my head out there.
But that's
in
what
that
makes
water.
this game so interesting, Will. You sitting at the Sunday table at Grandma's fighting over who's going to win this game.
Yeah,
and who's gonna pass the
that's
chicken.
what. Yeah.
Can I honestly speak to you?
Yeah.
If we run 6 offensive plays next week like we did tonight, we'll lose.
All right. And which 6 do you think they lost? I'm still trying to figure out that pass at the end of the game. Oh well. Well, let's get some Burns callers in here or some Shelby callers. Let's stir this thing up. But I want to thank my man Will Boykins for coming in. Will coaches. What's the name of your team?
With Shelby City Park Falcons.
Shelby City Park Falcons. Very successful coach, year in and year out. He trains them up. Then they go over to Shelby. And
Trying to spread the love, they just don't
spread the love.
Well, if I can ask you a quick question, I've always wondered why the Shelby City Park schools don't play some of the county
Because
schools.
the county schools won't play.
They won't play? Okay. I would really like to see some of those
would love to see
matchups.
that.
I would love to see Boiling Springs and Springmore and Upper Cleveland and all that interleague with the Shelby City Park
It's
League.
something the coaches at the park has been wanting for a long time.
It would be great. I mean, it would just be great. I mean, I just don't understand why they don't do it. I mean, we've got so much football
But
talent.
if you would come out on Saturday mornings,
See some
come
real
over
football.
there to Shelby High and watch us play, and then leave in the afternoon and go to the county and watch them play, you'll understand why they wouldn't want to play.
I just want to say thank you for dropping by, my man.
Yes, sir.
Good to you, brother. Peace out and all that stuff.
I would like to see that expand, though. I think that would be neat to see that.
All right.
We got anybody, Steve? Okay, go ahead, caller.
Yeah, we want to call in and say congratulations to Matt Bean tonight.
Hey, now, come on, be nice. It's
Rubbing
my
it in a
job.
little
It's
bit,
my
I see
job to
there.
kick
Yeah,
the ball
yeah. We've been to the Shelby game up at Drone, and that was a good game, and they played. Drone played good.
Well, they're a big team. They're not quite as quick as Shelby. They're not quite as strong as Shelby. They're not as good as Shelby, and I think the score tonight reflected that. Now, Shelby is a very good team. I am going to give them credit where credit is due. They have added the passing game, Lewis. They can throw the ball down the field. Ralph Jolly had 2 touchdown passes tonight.
Yep.
They've got R.J. George slinging that ball back there like you wouldn't believe for a Shelby team. They're very good on on the run. It's going to be an interesting game next week with the Lions and the Chargers.
Yes, there'll be a lot of people there.
Yeah, I imagine there'll be a pretty good crowd, about like that Burns crowd you had a while back.
If you're going to rob anything in Cleveland County next Friday night,
Next
the
Friday
time
night
to
would be a
do
good
it.
time to do it.
Yeah, well, that'll be an interesting ball game. So
Yeah,
it'll
should be.
two good teams.
Would you like to make a prediction?
For next week.
Yeah, score, a winner and a score.
Well, it's going to be, I don't know. I would hate to say it's going to be a close ball game.
It should be a good ball.
It should be about like this game tonight. I figure
Yeah.
either team, the winner or the loser, neither one will have anything to be hanging their head about, because it's probably going to be, like you said, a very
Might
close
be the
game.
last team with the football.
That could very well be.
Yep.
Well, I'll give you I'll make an interesting statement.
Okay.
I have a son that played football at Crest, a daughter that played in the band at Crest, and I have a daughter that graduated at Shelby that was a cheerleader there.
Oh, wow.
You got
Wow.
them strung all over the place there.
House divided. House divided.
House divided, yeah.
House divided.
I started to say,
We won't make a prediction there. We'll let them decide that on.
There you go.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name, caller. Did you want to give that?
Yes, my name's Phil.
Okay, Phil, thank you very much for calling. And regardless of who wins next
You
week,
give us a call.
one of your family members is going to be happy.
There you go. Give us a
All right,
call.
Talk to you later.
We're taking a
you,
little
Steve,
break
tell us
here.
it's time for a break. We'll be right back on the Marburger post-game show. Thank you, Phil.
No, I don't.
Dodge, Ram, Nissan. Those are the powerhouse of vehicles you'll find at Marburger in Shelby. Plus quality pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. And of course, a service department that is second to no one. So when you're in need of another vehicle, see the friendly staff at Marburger. Marburger, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. 1310 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Proud supporters of our local school athletic teams. New owner, new attitude. That's Forest City Honda, voted the best new car dealer in Rutherford County for the second straight year. And Forest City Honda's Greg Huntley has been named the best car salesperson for the second straight year. Plus, the Honda Dealers of the Carolinas has named the Forest City Honda Service Department the best in the Carolinas by a vote of its customers. Forest City Honda, ready to serve you with the best cars, best service, and the best salespeople. Forest City Honda, Daniel Road, Forest City.
Since 1983, Bill Shuford Heating and Air has been providing dependable service and quality products to the Cleveland County and surrounding area. And the tradition continues today with quality American Standard heating and air conditioning systems. Plus, if you need a repair, Bill Shuford Heating and Air services all brands, including Trane. Just call 704-484-0025 for Bill Shuford Heating and Air. 213 Campbell Street in Shelby, your American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. It's where your comfort is our concern. Since 1983, Bill Shuford Heating and Air has been providing dependable service and quality products to the Cleveland County and surrounding area. And the tradition continues today with quality American Standard heating and air conditioning systems. Plus, if you need a repair, Bill Shuford Heating and Air services all brands, including Trane. Just call 704-484-0025 for Bill Shuford Heating and Air. 213 Campbell Street in Shelby, your American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. It's where your comfort.
It's that time of the year again to start thinking about Christmas. Yes, it's just around the corner. And a good place to start is the Bargain Station brand name outlet. They've got something for everyone on your gift list. From jewelry and watches to sporting goods, including golf clubs. Also luggage and plenty of housewares, even bicycles. And they have toys for Christmas too. The Bargain Station name brand outlet. 4400 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, next to Honda Motorcycles. Open Tuesday through Friday, 9:30 till 6. Saturdays, 9 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Hi, this is Woody Durham for Mark Dedman's Carolina Trophies in Shelby. Through the years, I've seen a lot of trophies and plaques, and none appear nicer than those which come from Mark Dedman's Carolina Trophies. Their guarantee is not just a guarantee, but a promise for courteous service, the absolute lowest price, quality products, on-time delivery, and most of all, your satisfaction. Awards for all occasions, plus rubber stamps and engraving. That's Mark Dedman's Carolina Trophies in Shelby.
And now from the SMAC Conference, the finals. Over at Crest, it was Burns 9-0 against Crest 8-1, and Crest comes out on top 21-17 over Burns. Shelby goes to 7-3 and 6-1 in the conference with a 49-14 win over Drone. RS Central picks up another win. They go to 5-4, 4-3 as they defeat East Rutherford 20-17. Chase picks up win number 6 on the season as they defeat East Burke 27-8. Over at North Gaston, South Point and North Gaston are still playing. They're late in the fourth quarter. South Point leads 48-10. Ashbrook defeats Lake Norman Charter 42-0. Hunter Huss and Forest View will play Monday at 6:30. In the North Piedmont 3A, 4A, it was Alexander Central after a tough battle with West Iredell. At the half, West Iredell led 20-14, but the second half it was all Alexander as they win 48-20 over West Iredell. Statesville defeats North Lincoln 42-20. It was Mooresville over South Iredell 33-10. In the Northwestern 3A, 4A, it was High Brighton defeating Patton 21-13. Hickory defeats Watauga 45-27. South Caldwell over Fred T. Ford 36-0. In the Southern Piedmont 1A Conference, it was Cherryville defeating Community School of Davison 47-8, and Thomas Jefferson defeated Pine Lake Prep 61-7. Bessemer City and Highland Tech will play Monday at 7 p.m. In the Southern District 7, it was East Lincoln having no trouble with Maiden. Final, East Lincoln 42, Maiden 0. Bandage defeats West Lincoln tonight 34-7. Lincoln defeats West Caldwell 48-21. And Bunker Hill defeats Newton Conover 56-19. And now, back to the guys in the studio.
Your sports leader is Big O Country, 1390 AM WHS in Shelby, 1590 AM WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia, 1050 AM WLON Lincoln, and online at KGCBroadcasting.com.
We're back on the Marburger post-game show. I'm Tom Senafani. To my left is Dennis Davis and Lewis Carpenter. And Steve is telling me I've got a collar. No, he's waving me out. No, you don't have a collar. So we want to hear from some of these folks around here. I've heard from plenty of Crest and Burns folks and all those folks. I haven't heard from any Lincoln folks tonight. They get a big win, 48-21. And East Lincoln, a big winner over Maiden, 42-0. A little disappointed in the West Lincoln Rebels. I've been talking them up a lot this year, and my friend John out there went to the game, and he sent me a text message, and he was pretty disappointed in the West Lincoln Rebels' performance tonight. But I tried to explain, you have a bad game, wasn't there, didn't know what happened, a lot of turnovers, or somebody got hurt or whatever. Or,
well, he had a couple injuries,
daggum 16-year-old kids, you don't know what's going through their mind.
You never do.
You never know that. So looking forward to hearing from some of you folks.
Now we got a caller.
Now we got a caller. Go ahead, caller.
This is Jeff. I normally cover the 4U games, but tonight, since they were off or postponed, I went to the Creston Burns game.
Oh, yeah, Jeff. How'd you like that one?
I'll tell you what, it was like a tale of two halves. I mean, neither defense could stop the other team's offense in the first half, so it seemed. But then in the second half, hardly anybody could get on the scoreboard.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you what, that opening drive from Burns I thought was very good. It put them up 7-0. I thought Crest, they're always a little slow coming out of the hole. They gave Burns 7 points. It was 7-0. I said, uh-oh, here we go.
Then they made the mistake of snapping the ball over the head, and then I was like, okay, here we go. This is going to be good. But then Crest gathered themselves and played very well.
Now, having seen Forest View, Ashbrook, and the Gaston County schools, what's your assessment of how these teams who are not playing that conference, other than Crest playing South Point first of the year, how would Crest or Burns fare against, say, a South Point or a Forest View in the playoffs?
Be honest with you, I could see Crest or Burns, finishing second and third in that conference. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure that they can, stop South Point.
I think South Point is the team to beat in the three big A at this point. Now, Burns is probably going to be 3 small A, but I think in terms of playing, you're on the money there, Jeff. That I think South Point's probably got the team this year because they're senior-led, senior-dominated, and I think tonight, the team that won could have been first or second in the Cleveland County matchups, but not first against that particular conference.
But, it's pretty much a prize fight tonight. I mean, neither team wanting to give an inch to the other. I mean, Burns, what I saw, they really adjusted to Crest's, powerful smash-mouth offense that they like to run. And, the draw plays and, the Wildcat. Yeah. I mean, Burns pretty much shut most of that down the second half. And, Burns, however, couldn't they could only muster up 3 points in the second half, and I think a lot of that has to attribute to Crest's defense.
And Jeff, I'll tell you, it just seemed to me that Crest definitely had an advantage in the special teams. Their kickoff man, he had a cannon, he had a boot. I mean, he was putting it in the end zone every time. What a weapon that is when you can negate any kind of kickoff return.
Yes. And you can't overrate the play of special teams. I mean, all 3 phases.
I mean, I just can't. I tell you, though, I do not like the high school rule. If it goes into the end zone and he catches it, he can't run it out. I can't stand that rule. I hate that rule. I'm still yelling at the kid, why aren't you running it out? But that's just the high school rule. I guess it's for player safety. They're trying to stop these wedge busters going down. That was a badge of honor when I played, man, the wedge buster, But I know they're trying to make this game a little safer.
Well, Jeff, we won't be here Monday night, but call us next Friday night and let us know how you guys
Before you go, Jeff, why did they cancel the game? Was the field too wet?
I didn't agree with the idea to cancel the game. I mean, if I was in their shoes, of course, this is easy for me to say because I'm not in their shoes. I mean, and I haven't seen the field, but
it was a beautiful night for football. I mean, it was perfect.
Go ahead.
I mean, you couldn't dream a better night for football.
And they played in worse conditions than this. Remember when they played Burns back in 2008, and it was a monsoon at Joe Alala Stadium, and they played.
Okay, just a curious decision for us. But anyway, when you call in next week, tell us about that game and tell us how Forest View does next week. I'm trying to find here on the schedule who they've got. Who does Forest View play next week?
East Gaston.
East Gaston. Well, that shouldn't be too much problem for you, but give us a call and let us know how it goes.
All right, thanks, Jeff. We got another caller waiting here, Tom.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, caller.
Yes, hello?
Hello.
You're on.
Hello. Yes, I have a question.
It's my brother.
I have a question.
Is this
Go ahead.
Danny?
I have a question. Due to the loss that Burns Bulldogs took tonight, will they still be ranked number 1 in the country? Or do you think they'll probably drop in rankings a couple? What do you think there?
Hey, come on now. Tongue in cheek there, I know.
That's okay. I actually sat next to this person at the ball game tonight. He happens to be my brother. But I told him to call in. I'm starting to regret that.
He's the good Cinephony kid. He's the one that stayed true to his school.
Now Danny and I were actually talking about a lot about this game. Danny maybe could speak to it a little bit more in the second half. I thought that Crest was really gambling by stacking that box. And I know that you saw it from up top, Dennis, and it just seemed like Burns couldn't take advantage of that. They just seemed to couldn't audible out of that run play and maybe hit him with something over the top. And, Danny, you were there for the second half. Just, tell us a little bit about were they still stacking that box like that in the second half, and did Burns try to do anything to counter that?
No, it was still Burns. Chris backed off stacking the box that much, but it was
Hey
still
guys, sorry we're late.
Milk looks warm. Running around
Finally got the gang together.
And
Maple brown sugar, strawberry, blueberry,
little family reunion. They had to go for a lot of fourth downs, but were successful. And there was a questionable call in the end zone, I thought, and it looked like a touchdown to me. I don't know if he juggled it, but number 11 for Burns, they had a touchdown, but they didn't call it there. There's a couple of questions calls in the fourth quarter.
That was an interesting call in the corner, and you and I were all the way across. Danny and I were all the way on. We were on the Crest side, and that was right in front of the Burns High band.
Yeah, I think Coach Beam had a little to say about that.
Coach Beam was out on the middle of the field. But yeah, I think Danny, you're right. It was close, and objectively speaking, we can't see it. If he's juggling a ball or he steps out of bounds. But a good point. The game could have went either way. But it just, Dan, it did seem like it was really a defensive struggle in that second half. I couldn't believe it. When I came over here.
It was a good defensive game. If you like defense and running the ball a lot, you had yourself a good game tonight.
Yeah,
well, Danny, the one thing that I was on the edge of the seat. Of course, I was standing. It wasn't really the edge of the seat. Montgomery's ability to scramble and elude the Crest guys that were trying to sack him, and the ability of those Burns receivers to get down deep on Crest and either out-jump them or just being taller like number 11, 6'9", go up. And he had a great catch there in the middle of the field one time that none of they jumped up about to his chest level. I kept thinking, man,
if I was the coach, I'm not the coach, and I hate to say I told you so. I would have thrown the ball to 11 about 20 more times than Burns did.
Yeah, it is a tremendous advantage, and it's like my dad was sitting to the left of me when he caught that ball. I was like, hey, just throw it up and let 11 go get it. Let 11 go get it. But it was a good ball game, and everybody enjoyed it. And I guess if there is a silver lining in this cloud, at least my mother is happy tonight that the Crest Chargers pulled out
Danny,
a victory.
One other question here.
Yes, sir.
From the Crest side, why did they throw that ball down there in that last couple of minutes? What was that?
I was pretty upset myself. I even said to the crowd, Coach been running it all game, and then he wants to throw it with a minute to go when he should be running down the clock. Didn't make much sense to me either.
I thought it was just me, but hey, Coach Barnes won tonight. I didn't, so he knows more than I do.
That's right. So it's still a victory, and that's all that matters. So we did the victory formation at the end, and that's the most important play.
That's correct. You guys didn't try to drop a bomb or anything, did you?
Drop a bomb?
Yeah, Burns does that thing where they drop a bomb at the end of the game.
They've discontinued that.
Tom and I had to leave, so I didn't know if the Crest Chargers dropped a bomb or something on them.
A bomb?
Yeah, that's when they line up in the middle of the field and just go kaboom, and the players all fall down.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a Burns thing.
It's a Burns thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we're used to
okay. Well, Dan.
Will says we're used to winning, so Danny, we don't have to do that.
Well, just tell you the dog catcher was out tonight, and
well, Danny, as always, we appreciate you calling in. I appreciate you staying up past your bedtime to call us tonight.
And go Browns. Go Browns.
That's one thing Dan and I can agree on. Let's hope the Browns beat the Ravens this weekend. Danny, I appreciate you calling, man.
All right.
Is he there?
He's gone.
He's gone. All right, thank you.
We got another caller?
We got another caller. Let's go ahead.
Hello.
Hey, Tom. This is John.
Hey, John. This is my friend John, and let me tell you what. He's like an uncle to my daughter Anna, and he is a diehard West Lincoln Rebels fan, and he goes to every single game, and he always gives me the report. So you Lincoln County fans need to be more like John and call us in and let us know. Now, I know, John, you weren't real happy with the West Lincoln Rebels tonight. Where just tell us a little bit about what happened. Why did they go down 34-7 tonight?
They couldn't defend the pass. I mean, they just run all over them.
Oh, so did they turn the ball over?
No.
Yeah, turn your radio down a little bit.
The offense just could not move the ball.
Okay, hey John, turn your radio down. We're getting a little bit of feedback in the station.
Here.
Yeah, we're just getting a little feedback there.
Go.
There you go. Very good. What about the West Lincoln quarterback? What's the kid's name? The kid that likes to run.
Corella?
Yeah, that kid. Were they able to key on him and shut him down? Was he not very effective in moving the football tonight?
He was, but like I said, they're a one-dimensional handlebar to Daniel Davila type team, and they keyed on him. And every time they had a play, they went to him, and they just keyed on him.
Oh.
And it's like that every week. I mean, I don't know what kind of play calling they do, but it's just it's frustrating when you have to move the ball and they know what play you're going to run.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right, John. When you are one-dimensional and the other team can key on that, it does make for a long ball game. It seemed to have been working for West Lincoln most of the years. They piled up Lewis. I know that you keep up with those Lincoln County schools.
Yeah.
Well, they have 5 or 6 wins already this year.
They had 7 wins.
So 7 wins. So
7-3 now.
7-3. So
and there were several games there where they had over 230 yards rushing consecutively.
Yeah.
2 or 3 games in a row.
So I think that that the West Lincoln Rebels are going to make a playoff run. And John, don't let this one game get you down.
What makes it so bad is the 3 teams had Banny's beat. They're combined 1-26.
Oh, I know.
I mean, that's what makes it frustrating.
And what makes it even worse? West Lincoln beat Bunker Hill, and Bunker Hill tore Bandy's up last week.
I know it, and we got to play East Lincoln next week.
Oh, I know. Good luck.
Well, maybe
that's not going to be too pretty, I don't think.
Well, let's hope
I hope so, but
Well, let's hope West Lincoln can turn the tables. You never know. That's why the games are not played on fields; they're played on radios, right?
There you go.
Exactly.
Okay, John, we got to go to break, pay some bills. John, thank you for calling in. Call in again next week. We'll be back on the Marburger post-game show.
Oh, it's all the Bulldogs calling in.
Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. Those are the powerhouse of vehicles you'll find at Marburger in Shelby. Plus quality pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. And of course, a service department that is second to no one. So when you're in need of another vehicle, see the friendly staff at Marburger. Marburger, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. 1310 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Proud supporters of our local school athletic teams.
Your sports leader is Big O Country, 1390 AM WHS in Shelby, 1590 AM WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia, 1050 AM WLON Lincoln, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
For the last 19 years here on the radio, we've been telling you about Kibo's Quick Stop in Shelby. Kibo's was opened 19 years ago by Keith Yearwood. And Keith and the gang invite you into Kibo's for delicious Hunt Brothers pizza, good for tailgating and for those upcoming holiday parties. Also, there are snack items such as soft drinks, candy, chips, and pastries, plus packaged and hand-dipped ice cream, milk, bread, tobacco products, motor oil, and don't forget to fill that vehicle up with gas. Kibo's, Highway 226 North at the Zion Church Road intersection, Shelby.
Packing that lunch for school? Then head to the Ora Supermarket and Broad River Hams for some great back-to-school lunch packing good deals. Broad River Country Ham, $5.99 a pack. Hormel lunch meat, $3.99 a pound. All meat bologna, $3.99 a pound. Boiled ham, $4.99 a pound. And sliced American cheese, $5.99 a pound. And don't forget the Pick 5. Pick 5 bags of frozen food for only $19.99. Ora Supermarket and Broad River Hams, 1026 East Marion Street in Shelby. They're the steak place.
There's never been a better time to switch to Nationwide and save. For auto, home, life, or business insurance, call Heather, Gary, Mark, or Gaylord at the Gaylord Brawley Nationwide Insurance Agency in Shelby. You can trust Nationwide, serving North Carolina customers since 1928 and #1 for 20 straight years. The Gaylord Brawley Nationwide Insurance Agency, 1235 Falston Road in Shelby. Call 704-484-2680.
Come see what they've rounded up for this month at the Roundup store in Shelby. 3/4-inch ash plywood, good on both sides for $39 a sheet. Good on one side, just $29 a sheet. And the Roundup store has 1/4-inch hardboard paneling for $18 a sheet. 3-tab white shingles are $45 a square. And their wood buildings are built to last. Make your dream kitchen a reality at the Roundup store. 1610 East Dixon Boulevard, Shelby. Open 8:30 till 5:30 Monday through Friday, 8:30 till noon on Saturday.
And now, scores from around the area. In the Southern Piedmont 1A Conference, it was Thomas Jefferson defeating Pine Lake Prep 61-7. Cherryville defeated Community School of Davison 47-8. And if Bessemer City can defeat Highland Tech on Monday, next week on Friday, it will be Bessemer City and Cherryville playing for the Southern Piedmont 1A Championship. In the Southern District 7, it was East Lincoln defeating Maiden 42-0. It was Bandy's over West Lincoln 34-7. It was Lincoln defeating West Caldwell 48-21, and Bunker Hill over Newton Conover 56-19. In the South Mountain SMAC Conference, it was Crest coming away with a huge win over Burns, 21-17. Crest leads this all-time series 36-11-1, and Crest has won 19 out of the last 21 in this series. Shelby defeats Drone 49-14. And after East Rutherford built a 14-0 lead, it was RS Central coming from behind to defeat East Rutherford 20-17. East Burke and Chase was tied 8-8 at halftime, but it was all Chase in the second half as they defeat East Burke 27-8. It was South Point over North Gaston 48-10. Ashbrook over Lake Norman Charter 42-0. And on Monday at Hunter Huss and Forest View will play at 6:30. In the North Piedmont 3A, 4A, it was Alexander Central defeating West Iredale 48-20. It was Statesville over North Lincoln 42-20. It was Lake Norman defeating North Iredale 50-21, and Mooresville over South Iredale 33-10. This coming Friday, Mooresville and Lake Norman will battle for the North Piedmont Championship. In the Northwestern 3A, 4A, it was High Brighton defeating Patton 21-13. Hickory over Watauga 42-27, and South Caldwell over Fred T. Ford 36-0. And now back to the guys in the studio.
Your sports leader is Big O Country, 1390 AM WHS in Shelby, 1590 AM WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia, 1050 AM WLON Lincoln, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
We're back on the Marburger post-game show. I'm Tom Senafani, along here with Dennis Davis and Lewis Carpenter. Steve's telling me I've got a caller, so let's go ahead to the caller.
Hello?
Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, gracious.
Hi, guys. Sergeant Nation.
Oh,
hey, let's hear it.
Well, I've done a lot of smack all over Facebook about it, so the only thing I wanted to say was Charger Nation.
There you go.
There you go.
Hey, was that a great halftime program tonight?
Excuse me?
Was that a great halftime program tonight?
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
It really was.
we recognize 3 outstanding individuals.
Yep.
Just happened to all be Chargers. All happened to be from a good school. And as best I can remember, Tom, I wouldn't let Larry McIntyre say it, but I don't believe any of those boys ever lost to Burns during their 4 years.
I don't think they lost to much of anybody, Dennis. I mean, when you got
that's a fact.
When you got a couple guys that are Olympic sprinters,
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
it kind of helps
We
a little
was
bit.
good back then.
Then
wasn't
you've
we?
got another guy who was all conference in the best conference in college football, the Southeastern Conference. I
And
mean,
now he plays
I'd like to
Sunday.
say that you could probably make Tom Senafani the coach at Crest High School, and he's going to win with those guys.
Hey, I don't know. That may be stretching it.
Hey, the first night I saw Brandon Spikes play was a 15-year-old freshman.
Yeah.
And after the game, I turned to Dennis and I said, "That boy's going to play on Sunday."
Yeah.
And he did.
We've been
He's
seeing,
a player.
I'd seen Brandon before, and I got to know Brandon when he was a freshman. I had just retired, but I got to go substitute one day, Lewis.
Right.
And he was a very nice young man, and got to know him a little bit.
He was a
Have
player.
known him since then. Knew him before he went to Florida. Still correspond with him and
Yeah.
everything. And I said, "Lewis, you got to see this kid."
Oh, yeah.
Lewis saw him,
That's-
and then he turned around and said, "I believe you're right."
Yeah, I said, "You're right. He'll play on Sunday. I ain't no question." And he did. He was 15 years old. And no, he was shucking those people. It was
Well, he
unbelievable.
was 6'2", 240 when he was 15.
I know. He was a player and
Second-
had good
yeah,
speed.
Second round draft choice of the
Yes.
best franchise in football.
Yep.
Hey, now I wouldn't go that far. I thought the Cleveland Browns were talking
Best
about.
franchise in football.
Ma'am, do you
We're
want to
talking
give
about
us a little
Fulton.
preview of the upcoming attractions next week in George Blanton Stadium, or do you want to predict a score or a winner or anything?
Well, I predict Crest to win it, but, I'll just rejoice in this victory for tonight and just wait to see what happens next week.
There you go.
Thank you, and we do appreciate your calling
Thank
tonight.
you, Colin.
Now, like Burns.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Oh, I got one thing to do. I want to say hello to the boss man.
Yes.
Who has just had surgery, and I talked to Kevin this morning. Kevin said he had surgery yesterday and doing fine, and he wasn't supposed to talk for 2 weeks. And I said, good luck with that. So I called him to listen to this. I was going to leave a message on his cell phone, and he answered his cell phone. And I said, I thought you wasn't supposed to talk for 2 weeks. He said, yeah, that's what they said.
Well, it's like I told you, Lewis. You know why the boss is cool? Because he's a Calvinator.
Yes, sir. Whatever. A lot of you
that's an
people
old
don't
refrigerator
pick that
for
up,
you
but anyhow,
old
yeah.
folks,
Yeah, a lot of you,
Frigidaire.
and you work for Calvin. He treats you right, and he
Oh,
always
yeah.
feeds you right too.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
So
Yes,
Calvin,
indeed.
if you're out there, Calvin takes good care of us here at
He sure does.
at the station. So Calvin, get well soon. We hope you a speedy recovery, and you're back here on the air with us next week, God willing. Steve, do we have a caller? Okay, Steve gives me the thumbs up on a
Steve
caller.
Degree.
Do we have a caller? Steve Degree.
Dan
Greer.
Whoa.
Dan
The
Greer.
man, the
Dan Greer,
legend.
want to congratulate you on your Fighting Greer funds. They put up 61 on Pine Lake Prep Academy. I'd like to see some film on them. Sure, they got a real dominating defense. But Dan, tell us a little bit about that Burns game tonight.
Dan.
Coach Barnes did a good job. I thought, doing what he had to do to win.
Yeah.
And the Chargers led at halftime, and then no scoring in the third quarter, and only the Cody Dorsey field goal in the final quarter, all the scoring. And I don't know if you knew the stats, but the Chargers, their first 3 possessions of all the possessions in the second half were 3 and out, except for, and they picked off the Montgomery pass, the last pick, and hey, they got 2 first downs in and ran the clock out. Well, they did what they had to do to win, you know.
You know, there was that one time in the ball game where Burns had a 4th and 6 about at the Crest 45-yard line. And if I think maybe if Coach Beam knew that it was going to be such a close field position game, I feel like he might have punted that ball there and played a little field position. But, you know, up in the booth, boy, it's sure easy to be a coach from up in the booth.
Oh, yeah.
The way that Crest was moving that ball in the first half, Dan, I guess you could probably see why he wanted to keep the ball away from Crest. You know,
exactly. Yes, exactly. The Chargers moved ball in the first half with ease at most times.
Oh, my gosh.
In the second half, the Burns defense did the job, and you know, the only 2 turnovers of the game were in Burns. You know, Burns had the only 2 turnovers of the game, and you know that's the difference in the game. The 2 INTs there in the second half, and hey, you got to congratulate Crest.
I got to congratulate.
They won it, and that's all that matters. If you look at the stat sheet,
Burns dominated.
Burns had 26 first downs to Crest 8. They almost doubled the offensive output. But it doesn't matter about the stats. The only stat that matters is up there on the scoreboard, Dennis.
But you know, you need to put an asterisk by there. That second quarter was owned by the Crest Chargers. Yeah. I mean, they really owned them.
They had to do.
Yeah, they did what they had to do.
Hey, now as we look to, you know, a week from tomorrow, we'll be finding out where everybody plays. And it'll be interesting to see how they go. As you know, we'll have a 3-way tie in the SMAC conference after next Friday, I think.
No, Dan.
Oh, Dan! At least Dan makes a prediction. At least Dan makes a prediction. We've had so many people fail to make a prediction.
When these teams play each other, it doesn't matter what your record is.
I agree,
anything.
Dan.
It matters what happens on the field. If you remember, Burns won 3 weeks ago against Shelby. What was it? A 4-point margin.
Yeah.
Tonight, Crest won by what? A 4-point margin.
And so Crest beat Shelby by 4. Is that what your prediction is, Dan?
The winner will win by 4. The winner will win
like
by 4.
I said, Crest will beat Shelby by 4.
Well, they can. It might be. Or it could go the other way.
Well, Dan, I want to give some credit to Burns. I thought when the game started and Burns took the ball and went down the field, and then that ball was snapped over the Crest quarterback's head, I thought, here we go. Coach Beam, he's got him chomping at the bit. This is going to be a Burns Bulldog night. And then the Crest team buckled down, like you said, got back some control. As Tom pointed out, second quarter, not a lot of big plays, but just grounded out against a very good Burns front 4. And then
they did.
You know, I had to leave, you know, at the beginning of the fourth quarter and didn't get to see the end of the game, but came back here and watching on the big screen. My question is, why did Crest throw that ball down there and stop the clock?
We're still asking that. No, you know, you look at it this way: if they completed it for a touchdown, you couldn't argue about it.
Oh yeah, ifs and buts is handy enough.
It fell incomplete, didn't really hurt them, and if Burns had intercepted it and ran it back all the way, well, you know, I can't answer that question. I don't know. They got a reason. That's all I'm going to say.
Next question.
You know, I look forward to next week's game.
Yeah.
But I won't be there. But we'll be Burns, of course, playing host to RS. But the Shelby Crest game will be a great game next week.
Well, now RS beat East tonight, Dan. So Burns ought to be careful about that because. You know, they get
remember, RS played Crest real tough.
Yeah, it was tied at the half.
Crest dominated in the second half and won it.
Yeah.
So you got to watch out for RS.
Yeah, that could be a trap game.
They can be tough. Now, before I get off here, I want to say this to y'all on the post-game show.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting in playoff form. Lewis, Tom, Dennis, Steve, Terry. You're getting in playoff form. We've got a little bit of improvement to go, guys. So let's get ready for the playoffs in 2 weeks. You got a big game next week. Go out and get them, okay?
Right. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
That's my pep
Hey,
talk.
we appreciate that coming from the man.
Hey, Dan, remember,
Yes.
I want a new contract next year.
And Dan, how about telling the Greer Fawns to lighten up on Pine Lake Prep?
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, they need to. Hey,
bullying
Tom,
is not
thank
cool,
you
Dan.
for your work in that aspect of the post-game show. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
See you,
y'all.
bud.
Bye.
See you, buddy.
61 points. Where were they playing? Dan Greer Stadium up there?
I don't know, but I guess.
scored 66 on Pine Lake Prep.
Who did?
Bessemer.
Well, I just think
Pine Lake Prep is not
the difference
very
between
good.
the difference between Bessemer City and Thomas Jefferson, I think, is Bessemer City probably couldn't help but score 66, and I think Thomas Jefferson was trying. We got a caller. Let's go ahead, caller.
Steve Degree.
Hey, Steve.
Man will call, win or lose. How did them Lions look tonight up there at Drone, Steve?
Well, played a great first half, but came out a little sluggish in the second half.
Yeah.
Drawn is a very, like you said, Thomas. Drawn's a very big team. They got some big kids.
Size. I mean, I love to have their size blocking for us, man.
Yeah, that big. They had two big fullbacks, and they was pounding it. I said, "Uh-oh, we don't
And they
start
don't
tackling
quit.
now. We better, because I know what's going to happen next week when Crest start pounding it on us like that." So, but we won 49-14.
Yeah.
We played everybody but the Water Boy.
Yeah.
So that was good too, and even the JV quarterback threw a touchdown.
Well, you had to give your boys a little rest to get them, tuned up for next week. And Steve, you're sort of like the guy that called in earlier. I know that you're a loyal Lion fan. Even though your son played over at Crest, you still pull for the Lions. And I don't suspect that you'll be doing anything next week but pulling on the Golden Lions to victory. What do you see as the key elements in this game next week, Steve? You've seen enough football here with the Golden Lions this year. What do you think's going to happen in this game, as from your perspective?
Actually, I think if we can get ahead of Crest, at least by 2 touchdowns,
yeah,
we might be okay. To see Crest going to use the ground attack,
yeah,
where Shelby going to use the air attack.
Yeah, and you have both facets of that.
And we just going to have to play a complete football game.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take the whole 4 quarters. You can't play 2 and slack out 2 because, as you see, Crest will get you.
Well,
So,
and you, I
remember,
know
I called it last week. Remember, I said that the Shelby fans want to cheer for Crest so we can get this 3-way tie for the conference championship.
Well, Dan Greer just called in. He said, reminded us that, Burns beat you guys before. We beat, the good folks up at Burns tonight by 4. And he's predicting the game will be won by 4 points next week. The question is it going to be Burns or is it going to be Shelby? And that remains to be seen. Crest or Shelby. And
I know one thing. You got to get there early. Like it's going to be like the Shelby Burns game, and the Crest is going to have their A game, and Shelby going to have their A game.
It'll be a fun game to be at and enjoy. Now, Steve, I got one more question for you.
Okay.
Were you able to be on the sidelines this week when the Shelby Blue Devils won the championship over RS?
Of course, I was there.
I didn't know if you had them staples out.
That's the dumbest question you asked right there.
Yeah, well, Will Boykins is sitting over here grinning. He's trained a few of them boys, and you've worked with them. So I predict that we're going to have more good football to come in Cleveland County in the coming years.
I know you probably got another caller, but I just want to say we had this kid named Ethan Martin.
Yeah.
He's the 8th grade at Shelby Middle School, and he has brain cancer.
Well,
so his parents brought him to the game on Wednesday, and we took him out to midfield to make him our honorary captain.
I thought that was a class move on the Shelby school's part to do that in the team, and I'm glad you guys got to do that for him, and I'm glad he got his picture in the paper or on the internet. I've forgotten which one I saw it there, but that was a good move, Steve. Now, I understand too, Steve. Give me a scouting report on this Hollifield kid that you got playing. I heard he's a pretty good sized kid. We were talking about Brandon Spikes early.
Well, of course, Dax is Coach Hollifield's son.
Yeah.
Probably, I think and Dax, he's a great linebacker. Dax is a good kid. Mm-hmm. He plays hard, he runs hard, and every time we run a fullback dive, you can see the linebackers backing up because they didn't want to hit him straight up.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably a much better linebacker than he is running back because I could see him playing linebacker at Shelby High.
Well, I had a kid that played for me years ago named Cecil Clark, was like that. when he was in the 9th grade. He was about 6'2", about 210. He played quarterback and linebacker. Went on and played at Wofford. So it sounds like this kid fits that mold of the tough, good kid that's going to be a good Shelby player for years to come.
And we got a couple of good kids. Xavier Brooks, who was our running back. I call him time because he take a licking and keep on ticking. So it's hard for one guy to bring him down. So he'll be a future running back for the Golden Lions. We got a lot of good kids on the middle school.
Well, Steve, we appreciate you calling in, and congratulations again on winning that championship. Steve Roberts is telling me I've got to go pay some bills.
Yes.
So, Steve, call us back next week. Thank you very much, and we'll be right back here on the Marburger post-game show.
All right, go.
Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. Those are the powerhouse of vehicles you'll find at Marburger in Shelby. Plus quality pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. And of course, a service department that is second to no one. So when you're in need of another vehicle, see the friendly staff at Marburger. Marburger, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. 1310 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Proud supporters of our local school athletic teams.
Your sports leader is Big O Country, 1390 AM WHS in Shelby, 1590 AM WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia, 1050 AM WLO in Lincoln, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Your number one choice for drain service in Cleveland County is Drain Cleaners of Shelby. From slow to clogged drains, to sewer odors, to moving or installing a drain, or even adding a drain, see Drain Cleaners of Shelby. With state-of-the-art inspection cameras, locating equipment, and high-pressure jetters. From residential to commercial, just call 1-800-440-CLOG for a free estimate. They'll make sure your drains are actually draining. That's Drain Cleaners of Shelby. Yes, Cleveland County, you do have a train dealer. From Kings Mountain to Polkville, from Lawndale to Bellwood, from Falston to Earl, Roland Black Heating and Air will be there for you. They're only a phone call away at 704-865-1375. In minutes, a comfort specialist will be at your door for your heating or cooling needs. Yes, it's hard to stop a train. Again, call Roland Black Heating and Cooling at 704-865-1375. Your hometown train dealer for over 36 years.
Your Yoda wood stove dealer is Future Energy Company in Shelby. Come on in now and see how you can save $1,000 on a new Yoda wood stove. And be sure to ask about the Yoda limited lifetime warranty. And one easy air control lever will operate the entire stove. Come on in and see the big selection of Yoda wood stoves on display at Future Energy Company, 130 West Graham Street in Shelby. Visit the website at futureenergyco.com for more information on the full line of Yoda wood stoves.
And now from the Southern Piedmont 1A Conference, it was Thomas Jefferson defeating Pine Lake Prep 61-7. Cherryville defeated Community School of Davison 47-8. Bessemer City plays Highland Tech Monday at 7 p.m. In the Southern District 7, it was East Lincoln defeating Maiden tonight 42-0. It was Bandy's over West Lincoln 34-7. Lincoln over West Caldwell 48-21, and Bunker Hill over Newton Conover 56-19. In the SMAC Conference, it was Crest over Burns 21-17, Shelby over Drone 49-14, RS Central over East Rutherford 20-17, and Chase over East Burt 27-8. In the Big South, it was South Point over North Gaston 48-10. Ashbrook defeated Lake Norman Charter 42-0. Hunter Huss will play Forest View Monday at 6:30. In the North Piedmont 3A 4A, it was Alexander Central defeating West Iredale 48-20. Statesville over North Lincoln 42-20. It was Lake Norman over North Iredale 50-21, and Mooresville over South Iredale 33-10. In the Northwestern 3A 4A, it was High Brighton over Patton 21-13, Hickory over Watauga 42-27, Freedom over St. Stephen's 47-14, South Caldwell over Fred T. Ford 36-0. And guys, now in the studio, we had 3 teams coming in this week as undefeated. Now we are down to 1. It is only South Point, the only area team still undefeated.
We're back on the Marburger post-game show. I'm Tom Senefani, along here with Dennis Davis and Lewis Carpenter. Just got a text message from my sister.
Hey, Gina.
Want to give a shout-out to her and her daughter, my niece Josie, and Madison, their friend. Josie is a cheerleader for that Shelby Middle School Blue Devils champion team. So want to say congratulations.
Your sister goes to Shelby.
Danny,
we love you, man.
We're not. Well, I want to include that Gina is unlike other folks around here. Gina's made a bold prediction on my phone. It says, "Tom, tell Dennis that Shelby will beat Crest by 44 points."
Gina,
you know, I don't know.
That's a prediction.
I don't know how much film Gina.
I like somebody that.
I don't know how much film Gina has analyzed, or how many stats Gina's looked at, but it may be a slightly emotional pick. But I think Gina's going with the Shelby Golden Lions next week. So Gina, you could call in the show. And after next week, and we'll just see if your bold prediction comes true, because I'm looking here in the studio, and Lewis and Dennis are getting a kick out of that. And
I like that.
Gina has
strong in their conviction.
Gina has inside information because her husband and her father-in-law are both on the chain crew at Shelby, so she's got all the inside dope on what's going on there. And her daughter's a cheerleader for the Blue Devils that just won a championship.
Maybe they know
but
some.
Gina, as an ex-Crest cheerleader whose brother was the punter for a Shelby Crest High School team, and your other brother played for Crest High School, I hate to say this, Gina, but I'm a little disappointed that you didn't go with the Chargers.
And that was the world's greatest punter. Caller, let's go.
Let's go.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Great.
Oh, good. Who we got?
Hey, this is Robbie from the Crest broadcast crew.
Oh,
Hey,
Robbie.
Tell us what you think, Robbie.
I tell you what, guys, it's like Coach Barnes told Alan Ford for the game. He said what we saw tonight was just old-fashioned smash-mouth football. I mean, Coach Barnes, we knew going into the night that you didn't want to get in a shootout with that Burns offense. It's one of the best around. I mean, they're just great. Montgomery does things with his arms and legs that not many quarterbacks can do, and that's what you saw Chris do tonight. Just ugly it up, get nasty with the football, run it right at you guys. It reminded me of going to watch Chris against Charlotte Catholic and watching Raheem Ledbetter do the same thing.
Hey, I got one question.
And carry them to a victory.
One question. Did Coach Barnes say why he threw that ball with 1 minute and 32 seconds left?
I did not hear a response to that one, guys. I
don't think there'll be one, Robbie.
Just trying to catch somebody off guard, to try
I'm
to
sure
get up,
that
because if there's time on that clock and Burns gets that ball back, and you're only up 4, Burns is going to try to drive for that score.
Yeah.
Now, Robbie, I had a quick question for you. How in the world did Burns start managing to shut down that Crest running attack? I thought in the second quarter, I was like, oh, my God, they're going to blow the doors off of them. And then,
I think one thing that we're seeing happen, I think something that's got to improve for this Crest team is the health of Trey Harbison. You get into that second half, and we've just seen Jalen Moore tote the rock over and over and over again. And if you notice on the defensive side of the ball, when it was obvious passing down, Jalen was going in at defensive back too.
Yeah.
You had a running back that I think drained the tank tonight against that Burns team, and there was just not another guy to pick up that load. The Chargers need to stay healthy.
Need to spread the love.
To continue to have a nice long playoff run.
Yeah. Well, Robbie, I thought Coach Barnes, to his credit, showed a lot of class at the end of the game when he could have stuck that in the end zone and raised the score and helped his esteem in the polls. He did not do a Tommy Knox.
Nope.
He took a knee.
Exactly. That was a good move by him.
That's been the one thing I have been thrilled watching Mark Barnes coach Crest football. He is a great X's and O's guy, but when you talk to him, and he'll tell you everything, he's about building young men.
Exactly.
Not just building football players, but building young men. And what you saw there was Mark Barnes being Mark Barnes once again. And if you know his family, his brother Darryl was the same way. His father, when he coached, was the same type of coach. They're about building young men first, and you're going to be successful if you do those things. And I think you're seeing Coach Barnes, benefit now from continually telling these kids, it's all about being a good person first. and you walk out of there with a hard-fought victory tonight.
Well, he practiced what he preaches.
Yes, sir.
And when
yes,
the
sir.
kids,
You're exactly right,
when the
Lewis.
kids see that means a ton.
And Robbie, I know the Burns Bulldogs are hurting tonight, but I thought by taking a knee, it was actually a tribute to Coach Beam and the Bulldogs.
It was.
Out of respect, we're going to do this because you guys have played such a good game and shown us a true Bulldog spirit tonight.
Yep.
We're not going to try to embarrass you any further.
Right.
We're not going to try to run up and cheap touchdown on you. We're going to say this is as close as it gets because we respect you.
Yeah.
And and there's no, like you said, there's no reason if you're a Burns fan to you don't hang your head tonight.
No.
Because what you saw tonight was a heavyweight fight.
Yes,
you saw two heavyweight fighters just trying to land blow after blow on each other. Just got the better of the Bulldogs tonight. Both these teams are going to be one heck of an outcome playoff time.
Oh,
and I definitely, if I'm a higher seed, because let's be honest, guys, this is going to drop Burns down a few notches on the seeding. Oh, some talk maybe even down to a 6 seed. If they come down to a 6, do you want to think Burns is coming to see you?
Somebody's going to get a rude awakening, aren't they?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be Highbright and some of those teams that have to play Burns, and even if it is at their place, they can be in for a surprise. But Robbie, let's focus for just 1 second since this game is behind us. We don't want to say too much about it. You've been around a lot of these Shelby-Crest matchups in the past.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see as the role of Shelby and Crest next week going into this game? The pluses and the minuses, and if you care to tell us what you think the outcome might be, but I'll leave it since you're broadcasting.
It's interesting, guys, because now, and I know, we're all saying, well, Shelby gets a victory, they're going to share the SMAC title, and but this game actually now is just about bragging rights.
Yeah.
Because it's really not, it may, for a Crest squad now that you're the top 3A seed out of the SMAC conference, you may be looking at the difference between being a 2 or a 4 seed. Going in with a 10-0 record, maybe you and Irwin are drawing for the top spot. But it's, and Shelby the same thing. Shelby, they know they're the top 2A seed coming out of the SMAC conference. So this game, once again, even though they're in the same conference, is actually coming down truly to about bragging rights.
Yeah, and we'll have 3 playoff teams in this conference.
And, if we talk about this rivalry, once again, it's the kind of rivalry you throw the record books out the window. You think about Crest, coming off of some state championship teams and a bunch of guys returning and Shelby beats them. You think back to the back-to-back state championship team, Shelby in 3A. Crest beat them one year where you never thought that should have happened. So you just throw the record book out the window for these two teams. Shelby's got a lot of great athletes. R.J. George is doing a wonderful job at quarterback. Ray from Washington is an outstanding running back. They're going to be able to throw the ball all over the field. I think you're going to see something very similar out of Crest, what you've seen tonight. They want to ugly it up. They want to slow the game down, and I think you're going to see Crest try to pound the football. Do I think the Chargers can win? I think they absolutely can because I look at this Shelby defense, and not taking it away from them. A.C. Reynolds ran the football and enjoyed doing it and scored a lot of points. South Point enjoyed running the football. They did it well and scored a lot of points. The Crest Chargers like to run the football. They could score a lot of points, guys.
Well, Robbie, did we come out of this injury-wise pretty well tonight? Is there anything that happened tonight that may affect the Chargers next week?
My concern, and I was telling Tim, we was talking in the parking lot after the game, did you have to drain the tank too much?
Yeah.
And, and maybe you're not injured, but are you able to get up again? Are you able to go in 100%? Are you going in at 90%? Because you did exert so much energy and so much time and so much effort into getting that victory tonight. I don't think, as far as a physical injury, the Chargers came out okay.
But the kids, I won't tell you, the kids, this is Shelby.
Right.
This is Shelby and Crest, and I think the kids are going to be there. I don't think they'll.
But, Lewis, 2 years ago, when we beat Charlotte Catholic for the second year in a row at Charlotte Catholic, our kids, Ledbetter and Bullard and those kids, they gave the proverbial 110%.
Right.
And then when they turned around and had to play Northern Guilford for the second year in a row at Chapel Hill, the tank was empty.
Yeah.
You hit it, Dennis. That's exactly what happened. You should have been looked at this kid and say, hey, we're playing for a state title. And when they went down to see what they had, there was nothing else there.
Yeah.
They had given it all.
That
Guys,
does
before
happen.
I let you go, I got to do one thing. I was quiet all week. I didn't. And all I'm saying is, I work with a bunch of Shelby fans, and I'm going to say a lot this week. But John Grellman, and I know he's listening. I teach with him at Graham Elementary. I heard all week about what these Bulldogs were going to do to these Chargers tonight. Well, John Grellman, I know you're tuning in. Just get ready for Monday morning because we're going to celebrate a Charger victory.
There you go. Robbie.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, bud.
Thank you, bud.
All right, and you guys can hear Robbie next week right here on KTC Broadcasting. I'm sure they'll have the Crest side of that game on, and if you prefer, you can hear Jeff Jones and Brent Pasco over there on the Shelby side of that game. And go. Dan Greer will have the Burns game up at RS, and, you know, I look for that game to be tougher, Tommy, because of Burns' circumstances.
Yeah.
And RS, the ability to play tough, so that's no pushover for Burns
I
next
do
week.
I do where, you know what, Robbie made a good point about being emotionally drained.
Yeah.
You know, and Burns, I know those guys are emotionally drained. I hope they get up, and you guys have made some good points about RS Central. Are they a dominating team? No. But they're not bad. And I've actually looked at a little bit, and it looks like they've got some guys who could hurt you. And now Steve is telling me I've got a caller. Go ahead, caller. Tell us who you are and what you got to say.
Hey, this is Keith.
Hey, Keith.
I appreciate your call tonight, Keith. Did you go to the game tonight?
Oh, yeah, I went to the game.
Well, we like
turn your radio down.
Yeah, like Tom's brother said earlier, Keith. We would be happy to welcome you back.
Never.
Never. Come on now, Keith. What's your diploma say on it? Crest.
Never.
But give us your opinion tonight on the Bulldogs' performance. They have nothing to be ashamed of, I don't think, tonight. But give us your take on it.
Well, what I think, you know, Chris made the game basically a slobber knocker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just slobber knocked too. We sort of got away from what we do.
Yeah. And I tell you what, that first quarter, when you boys went down the field and scored, and then we made that, first and 30 or something after the hiking the ball, I said, uh-oh, here goes Burns. They're going to run it up tonight on us. And I don't know what happened to Burns that you guys didn't take advantage of that opportunity.
Well, when you get in a game like that and emotions, you got to weather the storm the first 8 minutes.
Yeah.
You got to harness and just go on, move forward, and that's what Crest does.
I'll give that to Crest.
When that happened, they didn't get rattled. They just settled back down, and we didn't take advantage of Burns football.
Yeah.
We was in that red zone too many times, no points.
Well, the one thing I thought, and you know, Coach Beam has got a whole lot more wins this year than we have here on the radio.
Amen.
But Tom was talking earlier and everything. I thought the Goulet kid, that one pass that they threw in the middle of the field when they were scrambling back there, and it went for about a 30-yard gain. He just went up and played jump ball and came down with it over those little midget defensive backs at Crest has got. I said, uh-oh, we in for a long night. But, you know, they really didn't throw the ball that much in that jump ball situation, which I thought would have been to Burns' advantage to do so.
Yeah. Look here, I'm tired of talking about it.
Hey, we'll play you again next year.
Well,
play
I ain't worried about next year. I want to win the state this year.
And you played very well.
And they have a very good chance. Burns has a lot of good players on both sides of the ball. Keith, I was going to ask you a quick question. It looked like maybe Burns was getting a little tired in the first half. Definitely not in the second half. But I know those guys go in both ways. Just wanted to think that your thoughts on that going both ways and how it affected that second quarter of play.
Well, I don't think it really affected it. Like I said, I just think it was the feeling of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that game had a playoff feeling atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it was a good game. It was a good game for exposure for the kids and the county.
So you just think Crest had that momentum in the second quarter, and it just could, and it really
that momentum. We gave up a couple first downs that we shouldn't have.
Well,
a lot of missed tackles and
Yeah. And the first touchdown was a missed tackle too. I think if we get that guy on the ground, we stop that drive, and maybe it's a different ball game.
Keith, I thought this game turned on the first game of the year when Crest chose South Point to open the year with. They got their tails whipped, but then, like you said, like that first series that Burns ran. They came back, they bucked up, they knew what they had to do, and they had the season in front of them, like they did with the game tonight. And I think probably the difference in this game tonight goes to the fact that Crest had played a little tougher opponents earlier in the year that prepared them maybe a little bit better to come back from that situation tonight against Burns.
Yeah, and to Crest's credit, I don't think they'll see a team that can sling it around like we do.
No.
I think they'll do pretty well in the playoffs. But I'm gonna go on record and say it now. They can make us. They can go to sleep and put us a 5 or 6 if they want to. We love that.
Now, Keith,
we will love that.
You have seen the Golden Lions. You've now seen the Chargers. Would you care to give me a prediction on the Chargers and the Lions for next week?
Well, me being an old Charger 87 myself.
Yeah.
It looks like he's leaning the Chargers.
You can come home again, Keith.
Yeah, I like PQ's line. I love that.
In my heart, I'll pull from my alma mater.
There you go.
But being seen Shelby,
yeah,
they have too many weapons.
But now, you boys beat them.
It's going to be trouble.
You boys beat them. We beat you. And if Shelby beats us, that's going to be a big tie down there.
It is.
We don't care what no tie. We wanted it outright.
Yeah, I know. But listen, you're welcome back at the ranch anytime.
No.
Just leave all your bulldog gear over there in Lawndale. Come on home.
No, I'm going to roll with my dog to the end.
You got to repent of your sins. Do 10 Hail Marys. Come on back.
I'm just ready to get next week over with. I heard RS Central won 20-17.
Yeah, and listen, they took Crest 14-14 at the half, and Crest was lucky to come back. And don't go to sleep on that team up there.
For RS Central, when they come to Lawndale, it's going to be rough.
Yep.
Yeah, RS is playing Burns next week. Right?
Good luck to the Bulldogs. Hope you get a great seed. And let's repeat 94 when Crest won. Burns won both state championships, and let's throw Shelby in there and get a 2A state championship.
There you go.
That's true. I mean,
it
could well be that way, but we got to look out for that on the Shelby side at East Lincoln. That bothers me.
Hey, there's some tough teams.
I mean, wherever they give them, I wouldn't want to play them.
Yeah, High Brighton, East Lincoln, there's some tough teams.
Yep.
I would blow High Brighton
Shelby,
up.
what is it, West Rowan that's in there this year that can give Shelby fits? Hey, there's no easy road to the championship. You just play them one at a time.
Nope. Once you get in the playoffs, they're all good teams, and you better be ready.
Oh, yeah. I think Cleveland County will be.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, Keith, we appreciate you calling, and after that RS Central game next week, make sure you give us a call. Let us know how it goes.
Okay, sure will.
Okay, thank you. And you mentioned High Brighton. They struggled with Patton tonight. 21-13.
I think that was a letdown game for them after they got beat last year. They had the pin in their bubble last week, and they had to struggle back. And that's why I keep telling the Burns folks about this RS game. You go play RS next week, and you're down a little bit flat, RS could do what they did up there tonight. You'd have to struggle to beat them.
We do have them at home. Okay, we've got a call. Hey, Michael.
Hey.
How you doing, buddy? Tell us a little bit about the game tonight.
I just seen the first half, and it was doing good in the first half, and it needs to be. Well, we needed to score more points off of them.
Yeah, it looked like in the second quarter, we just didn't have the ball, Michael. It seemed like Crest had the ball the whole second quarter, and they really dominated and scored a couple touchdowns there. And that really kind of shifted momentum to their side. And it just seemed like momentum that didn't go away the rest of the first half. And you said you didn't see the second half?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you had to go home early?
Oh, I was watching it on the computer.
Oh, okay. And then what happened?
I couldn't watch it the rest of the way.
Oh, okay. Well, we hate you missed the second half of that ball game because it was back and forth as far as a defensive struggle. And Burns just came a little short. I'm sure you've been listening to the show. A lot of people have been calling in, but I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that Burns is going to be ready to play next week. Are you going to be at the game next week, Michael?
Yes, I am. I was in a car accident this past Saturday.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I got a strained neck.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, Michael, if you're feeling better, come to the game and find me, buddy. I'd like to sit around and talk a little football with you, okay?
We wish you well, Michael. Hope you get to feeling
Hope
better.
you get better, feeling better, Michael. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We'll be back on the Marburger post-game show.
Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. Those are the powerhouse of vehicles you'll find at Marburger in Shelby. Plus quality pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. And of course, a service department that is second to no one. So when you're in need of another vehicle, see the friendly staff at Marburger. Marburger, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. 1310 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Proud supporters of our local school athletic teams.
Your sports leader is Big O Country, 1390 AM WHS in Shelby, 1590 AM WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia, 1050 AM WLON Lincoln, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Blanton Cars is slashing down payments. We offer down payments as low as $500. We are the most experienced buy here, pay here dealer in Cleveland County. We have cars as new as 2010 models that we will finance in-house. We don't look at your past credit. Your job is your credit here. We have payment plans to fit your budget. Stop by today and let us put you in the car you deserve. Blanton Cars has 2 locations to serve you in Shelby. East Dixon Boulevard, across from Super 8 Motel, and West Dixon Boulevard, next to Meineke Mufflers.
The 20th anniversary sale is underway at Keith's Carpet and Floor Covering in Shelby. It's hard to believe, but Keith and Cindy Edwards have been bringing you the best in carpet and installation now for 20 years. Drop by this week and check out their 20th anniversary carpet and floor covering specials. And, of course, you get professional installation. Congratulations on 20 big years. Keith's Carpet and Floor Covering, 1162 East Marion Street in Shelby.
Norris Merchandise's beautiful furniture with bedroom, living room, and dining room furniture by the famous brands. Norris Merchandise's hardware, everything from nuts and bolts to lawnmower blades. Norris Merchandise's Carhartt clothing, featuring Carhartt workwear, casual wear, and rugged outdoor wear. And Norris Merchandise is an archery shop with a complete line of archery equipment and accessories. That's Norris Merchandise, 2011 South Lafayette Street, Shelby, online at norrismerchandise.com or on Facebook.
Where are you eating breakfast today? Have you tried the Hub Cafe located inside Medical Arts Pharmacy? The Hub opens at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. on Saturday, serving an old-fashioned country breakfast at affordable prices. You'll find homemade biscuits, bacon, country sausage, country ham, liver mush, eggs, omelets, all cooked to order on the grill. Call 487-0511 or come on into the Hub Cafe for a delicious country breakfast located inside Medical Arts Pharmacy, 108 Grover Street, Shelby.
The Round Man, Okie Knipe, invites you into Okie's Tire and Service Center for all your tire and auto service needs. Okie gives you the best value in tires, both new and used tires, and they'll mount and balance your tires free. Come into Okie's Service Center for all your service needs, including radiator flush, brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, and state inspections. Serving Cleveland County since 1978. That's right, over 35 years. Okie's Tire and Service Center, 800 West Warren Street in Shelby.
And now from the Southern Piedmont 1A Conference, it was Thomas Jefferson defeating Pine Lake Prep tonight, 61-7. Thomas Jefferson, their 7th win of the year. Cherryville defeated Community School of Davison 47-8. And Monday night, you can go to Highland Tech as Bessemer City and Highland Tech play Monday at 7 p.m. In the Southern District 7 2A Conference, it was Bunker Hill over Newton Conover 56-19. Lincoln in Rolls over West Caldwell 48-21. Bandy's no trouble with West Lincoln 34-7. And East Lincoln had no trouble with Maiden 42-0. In the SMAC Conference, it was Chase defeating East Burke 27-8. It was RS Central over East Rutherford 20-17. Shelby over Drawn 49-14, and Crest defeated Burns 21-17. In the Big South Conference, it was Ashbrook defeating Lake Norman Charter 42-0, and South Point stays undefeated 11-0 and 6-0 in the conference as they become conference champions 48-10 over North Gaston. Monday night, Hunter Huss plays Forest View. In the North Piedmont 3A, 4A, it was Mooresville defeating South Iredell 33-10. It was Lake Norman over North Iredell 50-21. Statesville defeated North Lincoln 42-20, and Alexander Central over West Iredell 48-20. In the Northwestern 3A, 4A, it was High Brighton defeating Patton 21-13. Hickory over Watauga 42-27. Freedom over St. Stephen's 47-14. South Caldwell over Fred T. Ford 36-0. The number 1 4A team in the state, Mallard Creek, had no trouble with J.M. Robeson tonight, 62-0 the final, 62-0. Independence defeats Rocky River 21-14, and the number 1 winning streak in North Carolina remains at 24 because Havelock was open this week, and the number 1 losing streak in North Carolina goes to 24 games as Clinton defeated Trask 41-14. And now back to the guys in the studio.
Your sports leader is Big O Country, 1390 AM WHS in Shelby, 1590 AM WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia, 1050 AM WLON Lincoln, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
We're back on that Marburger post-game show. I'm Tom Senafani. I'm here with Dennis Davis and Lewis Carpenter. And just want to get you a quick note in there about Marburger Dodge to tell you folks, I take my vehicle to them. They do a great job with the maintenance and working on your vehicle. Trust the people down at Marburger Dodge. They're great people if you need any kind of automotive needs. Steve, we have a caller, so go ahead, caller.
Hey, Lewis.
Yes.
This is David over in Cherryville. We need to come across the county line and talk a little bit of Ironman.
Oh, okay. We'll talk a little Iron Men.
Well, I just give the hats off to that offensive line tonight. We had 2 kids with over 400 yards rushing.
Wow.
Right.
The Abernathy kid was over 250, and Darius Wingate, he had about 170. They're kind of gelling a little bit. 3 wins in a row. I'm kind of happy.
That one next week's going to be a good one, isn't it?
I think so. That first game was pretty good with them in Bessemer. We're playing a little better ball right now, though.
Yeah, you are. You are, this game will be a little better, I think, and a little closer. It's not going to be a runaway for Bessemer City. It's going to be a good football game.
That first game was like about an 8-point win.
Exactly.
For them up here, the first game of the year. So we're just playing a little better ball. Hats off Coach Fox.
He's done a great job.
This team for the last few years, and he's had a pretty good program.
Yeah. He's doing pretty good. And that game next week, that's where I plan to be, is down at Bessemer City next week.
I think about half the town will probably be down there because it's a shot to win the conference or tie for the conference.
Basically,
anyway.
right, yeah.
Have they gotten some boys back from injury? I know they had
Most
some.
of them are back.
Okay.
The Fuller kid had a super game on defense. He had a back-to-back sack tonight. It was really good.
And the Fuller kid's playing?
He's playing linebacker and running back. He had fullback. He carried the ball about 5 times tonight. But,
he's a good football player.
He plays the end, and of course the Harris kid. That's all over everywhere. He's a tough cat on the defense.
That Fuller kid he's a good ball player. I taught his mother and his father.
Yeah, I think
I taught both of them
down that trying way.
Yep.
Yeah, but we need to get across the county line a little bit and get over here, and you got to help me out a little bit.
I tell you, that's what we need. We need more dedicated Cherryville linemen because that's where we are. We're here right in beautiful Cherryville, doing the show here on Big Old Country.
Fox did call us a couple weeks.
He did call us, and we need to give Cherryville the shout out.
Both my boys played for him, and my oldest one played. He was up there right after we come out of that 3 wins in 3 years, and
right.
And then Coach Fox took them to 2 playoff wins, and my boys just said he wished he could have played for him the whole 4 years.
Yeah.
He was a senior, and
he's done a good job. There's no question about that.
Well, we're a small school.
Exactly.
Don't have all them athletes, but this is the most kids he's had go out this year.
Right.
And one of his big kids was out the whole year, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, then again, we changed conferences, and he has a full JV squad with nobody to play.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Nobody had a JV
They
team.
had, I think they did go up and play Swain County and
Right.
played a couple games out, but that kind of hurts the program. But
It does.
They're okay. They're just playing pretty good ball right now. I'm happy with them.
Well, that's good. That's going to be a good ball game next week.
Yeah, I think it'll be full.
Oh, I guarantee you there'll be a mob down there.
Yeah.
I think that will be as Lewis says.
Yeah,
A
slobber
knocker.
knocker. I guarantee it.
Guarantee it.
Well,
But
y'all do a good job, guys.
Thank you,
we
man.
appreciate
you calling and call us back.
yeah, give us a call. Let us know about those charitable Ironmen.
Well, we just need some more charitable callers.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. We haven't talked about them, and very sneaky here. They got a win over those mighty Highland Tech Rams, and then they got a win over Pine Lake Prep and the Community School of Davidson. So I would say that Lewis can agree with me here. The level of competition is going to go up next week, Lewis.
Oh, after the
right. I mean, I think that they've made it through, but you know what? You got to beat the good team. Yeah, but you got to beat the bad ones too. Because if you're not ready and you're not prepared, that you catch a little criticism. Well, you're not playing real tough competition. But the simple fact is they're winning the games they're supposed to win, and they put themselves in a position to win the conference championship.
They sure have, both of them.
So I was a little disappointed when they went down to the Thomas Jefferson Griffons. I was hoping to see a win over there. Then it would.
Now, Cherville, that's who Cherville lost to.
That really. I thought that Cherville might just had a bad game there and didn't come up with a victory.
Oh,
there.
that was when they had those kids hurt and a couple of them suspended.
Yeah, and it seemed like maybe they had. Yeah, you're right. They had some personal issues, but
had some kids out. Yeah.
If you're over here in the greater Bessemer City Cherville area, you need to get on over there and see a good ball game. I think it'll be a lot of good.
It's a big rivalry game,
and it'll be a lot. Yeah, a lot of
it's
good.
like Shelby Crest or
it always has
Crest
been.
Burns.
Yeah.
It's Cherville and Bessemer City.
Well, you should see it. Yeah, you should see them in the baseball games I've umpired over there.
Oh,
so
gosh,
when the Bessemer kids come up to play Cherville, they don't like each other too much.
They do not.
So it's a good rivalry. I mean, it's a good thing. And if people say, well, if you like somebody too much, chances are they're just beating you all the time. So these are two schools that are pretty evenly matched and are very competitive in a lot of sports.
Right. Speaking of rivalries, I think there's one tomorrow in Raleigh.
North Carolina?
Does North Carolina still have a team?
North Carolina State.
Does North Carolina still have a team? I tried to watch them last Thursday night, and I couldn't figure out. I mean, there was this team wearing these black uniforms. I didn't. Was it Wake Forest? I said, when did Wake Forest start wearing blue helmets? And then they tell me that's it's Chapel Hill. I'm like, what's going on? I was like, I didn't understand.
Let me go to the expert on this opinion, the unbiased Terry. Terry, any comments on this game tomorrow?
Unbiased.
I
think so too.
Well,
my theory is engineers at State are smarter than liberals at Chapel Hill. So State figures out a way mathematically, and they will scientifically engineer a victory over Chapel Hill.
Our philosophy majors will find a way to snatch defeat from the victories, the jaws of victory.
So that'll be an interesting game. Really disappointed that Chapel Hill didn't pull out a win over the Miami Hurricanes. They had them on the road. Should have beat them and just got that silly penalty there and had to give them back the ball.
It was dumb.
So the Chapel Hill folks didn't want to talk to me. I was trying to compliment them. I said, y'all played good. I said, played good. We should have won the ball game.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. Tomorrow, Florida State plays Miami.
Okay.
Florida State is number 3. And Miami's number 7.
It'll be
after tomorrow, Miami's going to be number 15, and Florida State's going to be number 2.
Well,
I think Florida State's as good as anybody in the country.
Oregon,
as good as Oregon, as good as Alabama.
All right, we got a caller here. Let's hear. Go ahead, caller.
Of course, this is Mr. Go the Line, Bobby.
Oh, hey, Bobby, tell us.
Big win tonight for your Lions. Are you ready for next week, though, Bobby?
Yes, I am.
Hey.
However, I do want to let you know that I decided to slip over to the Crest Burns game tonight to kind of check them out there a little bit.
Well, now, as an unbiased observer of the game tonight, Bobby, relay to us what you saw on the field tonight.
Well, the Burns Bulldogs, they played a good game until the latter part of the game. They made a couple of turnovers, of course, interceptions, and put Crest in the game. The Burns had controlled most of the game there at one point. And, of course, the Crest went in with, they was up by one touchdown, and Burns kicked the field goal there in the latter part of the third quarter. And, well, it was in the third quarter, I believe it was, and that had to score at 21-17, and all of a sudden, Crest got control of the game, and they kept moving the football, and they kept the offense off the field quite a bit. And I commend the quarterback from Burns tonight for a good job that he did, even especially in the first and second quarter. He played a tremendous ball game, and I think that made the difference. One thing that made the difference, Chris got getting a lot of key first downs that they needed in order for them to stay in the game.
Well, Bobby, I commend you on your astute observations. Tom and I had to leave in the third quarter. We did not get to see the field goal or any of the fourth quarter because we were on our way back here to the station in Cherryville. But you pretty well summarized that. I think it was basically ball control down the stretch where Crest continued to hold the ball, run the clock. And the only question we've had tonight, and, you know, Coach Barnes won, and he's got more victories this week than we have, but why did he throw the ball down there at that last minute or two to go? We're still trying to figure that one out because it stops the clock.
Well, there's a lot of people, they couldn't figure that out. I said, oh, my. Him throwing that ball, they could have put Burns back deep back in the game. And finally, they're right on the end. Burns, they almost scored a touchdown. The referees had ruled that the ball was out of bounds there in the latter part of the third quarter. Yeah. And I think that kind of took the eye out of Burns a little bit. And but they still fought and did what they could before Crest finally won the game.
Well, now, Bobby, I know that you're a big Lions fan. I know you're looking forward to this game next week. It's always a big county rivalry. What do you see as this game, how it shapes up with the strengths of Shelby and the strengths of Crest? Give us your analysis on that.
Well, that would be Shelby's going to have to really run hard and do good blocking on next week against the Crest Chargers. I do know that they was doing an awful lot of stacking on the blocking tonight, and that gave Crest whoever was running the ball, especially that Moorboy, he was cutting around the corner a lot, and also along with Trey Harbison and P.J. Brooks, they was really running the football real well tonight, and the blocking was very good for the Crest Chargers, and I think that made a difference. Mm-hmm. And also Burns on the defensive side played good defense tonight. They were stopping the Chargers in a lot of key areas that they needed to, and but it wasn't. But it really was a slobber knocker tonight, and it was a good game.
Well, I know that Shelby, similar to Burns, not only can run the ball, they're elusive, but they can also throw the ball. And I thought Crest did a fairly decent job tonight of containing the passing threats that Burns had because they can score quickly on you, especially with those receivers. Shelby can do the same thing. You saw Ralph Jolly tonight with 2 touchdowns. You saw them do a tremendous job on their defense and also with their running backs and everything. So, Bobby, I don't know where you're going to be next Friday night, but if I know you, I think you're going to be over at George Blanton Stadium, and I'm going to be there with you.
I believe you said that exactly right. I'm looking forward to the game. I look forward to be a very good defensive struggle. Shelby's defense has improved a lot. And as we always say, the Golden Lions do improve every game, especially toward the end of the year. And the Crest Chargers and the Golden Lions going to come in Pearly Adams Field, George Blanton Stadium, ready to play football on next Friday.
I think you've summed that one up absolutely correct, Bobby. And give us a call next week. Win or lose, we know we'll hear from you.
Thank you, Bobby.
Right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Terry just handed me next week's games.
Yeah.
North Piedmont 3A, 4A, West Iredell at North Lincoln.
Yeah. Oh, you want us
to make a pick?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, okay. Tom, you want to go first?
Yeah, Dennis is pass the buck.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I like North Lincoln. I like my friend David Minnick over there, and they say they got those kids over there playing hard. Hasn't really shown on the scoreboard, but I'm going with North Lincoln in this one.
Tommy, this is not passing the bucks. If you saw the movie, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, this is what's known as the sidestep.
The sidestep.
And
Okay.
being a politician, a former politician, trust me,
Former
I can dance with
He's
the best of them.
He's
Ain't
full
no
of 60s and
former
70s references tonight. You know, he's doing watermelon, look who's behind, and he's doing movie references.
Statesville at South Iredell.
Statesville.
Does South Iredell still have a team? I think I'm going with Statesville.
North Iredell at Alexander Central.
I'm going with Alexander Central.
I'm going with Alexander Central.
Lake
as well.
Norman at Mooresville for the conference championship.
Ooh, is that the team formerly known as the Fighting
No,
Jets?
that's Lake
No,
Norman.
no, that's charter.
That's the Lake Norman High School.
I'm going with Lake Norman.
I'm going with Lake Norman.
The
as well.
tide will rise and lift
Southern
Lake Norman.
Piedmont 1A, Pine Lake Prep at Community School of Davidson.
Ooh, slobber knocker.
that would be
Community School.
Yeah.
Now here's the one, Cherville at Bessemer City.
I'm going with the Yellow Jackets because Dakota Wisnut's sitting over here, and since he's related
Well,
to
you
me,
know I'm an old Yellow Jacket.
And I'm going with my former town of residence. I'm going with the Cherville Ironmen. I'm just feeling the Cherville Ironmen are on a roll, and they have defeated three
Steve
teams
Roberts
in a row. I like
agrees with you, but
I like
suddenly you're
Wait a minute. Now you guys completely sidestep Pine Lake
I
and
told you
Community
we were
School.
good at it.
Pine Lake and Community School of Davidson. I want a prediction, Dennis Davis.
I
Who's
gave
going to win
you
that
I
game?
said Community School of Davidson.
Oh, but I didn't get a chance to put. I'm going to say Community School of Davidson over Pine Lake in a slobber or a knocker. I don't think we're going to have slobber and knocker in that. I think we'll have some slobber.
Are you not listening when I talk? Are you like my ex-wife? Are you not paying attention?
Newton Conover at Bandy's in the Southern District 7.
Oh, Newton Conover at
Bandy's.
Bandy's.
I got to go with Bandy's because I'm not sure Newton will have enough players
West
to field
Caldwell
the
at
team.
Bunker Hill.
Bunker Hill.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Bunker Hill.
East Lincoln at West.
Ooh.
East Lincoln.
Yeah, my heart's with the Rebels, but my brain's with East Lincoln.
Now
I'm
here's
gonna
the
go with East
biggie.
Lincoln.
Lincolnton at Maiden. Lincoln with one loss in the conference.
And they've been playing some good ball.
Maiden
Lewis.
with one loss in the
Maiden
conference.
talked big this week, and you saw what happened. I'm going with Lincolnton. Coach Cloninger,
Maybe.
call me next week when you
Might
win.
be.
I think Maiden gets up off the campus and beats canvas and beats Lincoln next week. We'll
All right,
see.
got the SMAC 2A3A, RS Central at Burns.
And a close one, Burns.
I think it burns. We'll rebound.
Crest at Shelby.
The Chargers.
Okay.
I know Dennis is going with the Chargers, but
By four.
But I like Shelby's diversity on.
Four.
I like
fingers am I holding up? Four.
I like
That's
Shelby's.
because I couldn't get 21 fingers up there, Burns.
Well, I like Shelby's diversity on offense. I like their defense. I think in a close game, Shelby's going to win.
Hey, he's a double trader.
All right. Kings Mountain at East Burke.
Kings Mountain and East Burke.
I think that Greg Lloyd gets off the schneid. Kings Mountain wins next week.
Chase at East Rutherford.
Oh, Chase.
Okay.
I think it's going to be East
And
Rutherford.
Drone has an open date.
Oh, darn. We don't get to pick the drone game.
Open and a victory over that.
All right,
Terry, Terry, where are you?
He's hiding.
Terry, did I not hear y'all say something on y'all's show today about that Coach Beam, because he held up four fingers after the Shelby game, got called in to the somebody? Well, but I'm just saying,
Somebody
complained and he got called in the superintendent's office.
But no,
Terry, did I hear that?
Well, I think Steve telling us to go to a break, so we'll come back to that thought as soon as we'll be right back on the Marburger post game show.
Request that we.
Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. Those are the powerhouse of vehicles you'll find at Marburger in Shelby. Plus quality pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. And of course, a service department that is second to no one. So when you're in need of another vehicle, see the friendly staff at Marburger. Marburger, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. 1310 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Proud supporters of our local school athletic teams.
And now the Southern Piedmont 1A scores. It was Thomas Jefferson defeating Pine Lake Prep 61-7. It was Cherryville over Community School of Davison 47-8. Bessemer City and Highland Tech play Monday at 7 p.m. In the Southern District 7, it was East Lincoln 42, Maiden 0, Bandy's 34, West Lincoln 7, Lincoln in 48, West Caldwell 21, Bunker Hill 56, Newton Conover 19. In the Big South, it was South Point 48, North Gaston 10, Ashbrook 42, Lake Norman Chargers 0, Hunter Huss and Forest View play Monday at 6:30. In the North Piedmont 3A, 4A, it was Alexander Central 48, West Iredell 20, Statesville 42, North Lincoln 20. It was Lake Norman 50, North Iredell 21, Mooresville 33, South Iredell 10. In the Northwestern 3A, 4A, it was High Brighton 21, Patton 13, Hickory 42, Watauga 27, Freedom 47, St. Stephen's 14, South Caldwell 36, Fred T. Ford 0. In the South Mountain Conference, it was Chase 27, East Burke 8, RS Central 20, East Rutherford 17, Shelby 49, Drone 14, and for Cleveland County, give it up for y'all's football teams last week, Burns and Shelby. This week, Crest and Burns. What games y'all have? And you got one left. Crest and Shelby next week, but the final tonight was Crest 21, Burns 17. And now, one final score. This goes to Dennis Davis. Tommy Knox wins in South Carolina 31-20, running their record to 8-2.
We're back on the Marburger post-game show. I'm Tom Senafani. Along with me tonight is Dennis Davis and Lewis Carpenter, and I'm going to turn it over to those guys because
I'm glad to hear that Boiling, no, what's that place he's at? Dutch Fork won tonight with Tommy Knott.
What was the score? 31-20. Wow. Tommy only scored 31 points? Wow. Well, I'll tell you what. Lewis, time for a little Sweet 16, the Charlotte Observer. This means absolutely nothing. It's worth a bucket of spit. There's all kinds of polls. We just happen to do this one because I buy the paper and I might as well.
There you go.
And the way they got it ranked this week is number 16, North Rowan. Number 2, South Iredell, or number 15. Number 14, Concord Spiders. Number 13 is Rocky River. Number 12 is York, South Carolina. Number 11 is West Mecklenburg. Tommy, drum roll, please. Number 10, the Burns Bulldogs.
I think they'll stay there too, Dennis.
I do not expect them to drop. They might actually move up a little bit. Butler is the number 9 team. Charlotte Catholic, number 8. Rock Hill South Point is number 7. Number 6 is Charlotte Christian. And the number 5 team, Tom, is...
the Crest Chargers, Dennis.
Thank you, Tom, for remembering your alma mater. And at number 4, deservedly so, is the South Point Red Raiders, followed by number 3, Huff, number 2, Rock Hill Northwestern, and number 1, Mallard Creek. Now, all those are 4A schools, so we could say that South Point probably is the best 3A team, big or little, that I think this year. But I would say that going into the playoffs, Lewis, like we said, Burns stands to be a number 1 seed in the 3A.
Right.
Crest, a number 1 seed conference winner in the 3AA. Shelby, regardless of next week, I think will be a 1 or 2 seed, depending on some team out there that's not as good as Shelby, that's got a better record, might get seated higher, but you don't want to see the Lions coming to town if you're that.
Well, no, team. You don't. You don't want to play any of those 3 teams.
No.
I mean, I don't care who you are.
Well, they're all battle tested and they're ready to go. So,
They are,
I mean,
and they're the thing about them. We got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The thing about all three of these teams, they are so well coached.
Yeah.
And they are so prepared. When they go play somebody, they know what they're going to see.
Yeah.
They've seen it in practice all week. They know exactly what's going to happen. And that is coaching. That's what it's all about. And that's what they do. And that's why you don't want to play them.
Well, I'm going to talk to my numbers man over here, Terry Reinhardt. Terry, ADM numbers. They're not out right now. They'll come out this week. Maybe we can have some projections next week. That'll be Saturday, but next Friday night it'll be speculation. Terry, have you got any idea where some of these teams are going to fall big and little on some of these things?
Not really. I mean, a lot of them's right there in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Lincoln and people like that, they could go.
And Shelby and Lincoln and West Lincoln.
West Lincoln's going to be high.
They're going to be big, yeah. They're probably going to be big 2A.
Well,
Might be best for them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know that, Crest is probably going to be big. The question is Burns going to be little, big?
now, Burns, I'm almost positive. Burns is sitting at about 1080, so that's probably going to put them at a little 3A. Because Shelby's got about 1,000, I think.
And one of the things I've seen, Terry, is speculation that Northern Guilford might be west rather than east this year.
Oh, my.
So you've got that dividing line.
That would make it interesting.
There's got to
That
be
would be
somewhere.
interesting. Yeah, it depends on how they do that.
And Havelock is sitting there waiting on somebody.
Yeah.
Whether it's South Point or whatever. And, without the pods this year, Terry, how does this stack up in this first round? I mean, you're supposed to get an easier game.
Well, you're not going to have to play your conference people anymore, for thank goodness for that.
That was about a 2-year experiment.
That was terrible.
And nobody liked
it.
And some of those
Nobody
teams would
liked
play
it.
the last game
But
of the year and turn around and play the first.
You know who liked the pod system? Al Gore, because it fought global warming, right? Nobody else liked it, okay? Nobody else liked
that was the excuse.
Is the FCC listening?
That was the excuse.
I have a comment on both Al and the pod.
That was the excuse that they used. It was save gas.
Save gas. Yeah, there you
But
go.
It gave me gas.
It reduced our carbon footprint, but I'm telling you what.
Well, who was it that one year?
Gosh.
The Cherokee drove 500 miles to play somebody?
Didn't they go down somewhere about Southport to play?
Yeah.
Or something?
They went all the way east.
Well, you can never say the great minds in Chapel Hill are always rational. Okay, so we just know that we have to do what they say.
Tommy,
but
this year when we go to the championship games, we're going to take you with us. That's a real. Lewis and I have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always a treat dealing with those people.
They're telling us 2 minutes. So if I just want to say real quick, it looks like the Gaston County game of the week next week is going to be Ashbrook at Hunter Huss. Cherville will be playing Bessemer City. That game's over at Bessemer City. You can listen to that on 1590. Lincoln and at Maiden, you can listen to that on Big Old Country 1050. The Crest Chargers will be at the Shelby Golden Lions. You can watch that on KTC Broadcasting.
Kings Mountain Hill.
I don't have it on this paper. Somebody help me out there. Burns and RS Central. You can watch that on KTC.
Cleveland County game of the week will be.
Cleveland County game of the week will definitely be Shelby and the Crest Chargers,
Yes, sir.
which you can get on WOHS or on KTC Broadcasting. And then the East Lincoln.
Mountain got East Burke.
He's Kings Mountain. Oh, yeah, I predicted Coach Lloyd gets off the Schneid next week. I think that they're going to beat him.
I'm thinking Schneid might be.
You're thinking Schneid. They're still on the Schneid. But make sure that if you can't get to a game, you listen here on WLON, WOHS, WCSL, or on KTC Broadcasting.
There you go.
And if you listen to us, we can pay our bills. So thank you for listening. All right.
Any final thoughts?
Any final
Dennis?
thoughts, Dennis?
Thank Dennis.
I'd like to thank the Burns Bulldogs for being a worthy opponent tonight. I think you guys showed class after the game. Keith, thank you for calling. You are one Bulldog I respect, even though you are a former Charger. And we didn't hear from some other Bulldogs tonight. Michael, you called. Thank you for calling. Robbie with the Crest Chargers and others. And next week, I know I will hear from Steve Degree and Bobby, regardless of win or lose. I respect you guys
Absolutely.
for calling. Lewis, back next week if
Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
Thanks for listening.
Good night.
No matter when you listen,
I put on the radio when I'm getting ready.
We keep it on at work.
we're the station you can count on.
Big O Country, WHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, WCSL Cherville Gastonia.
Lots of clouds and showers around the area this afternoon, becoming partly cloudy tonight as this mess presses to the east. It will be cooler with low temperatures in the mid-40s to about 50.